Dyclif here, and welcome to Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And oh boy, is this a good one and a long one. So, before we begin, well, the NBA Finals are currently over, and since it's over in 5 games, well, you know, obviously this is going to go to 6 or more because it's tied at 2 apiece right now as we speak. But one of these two teams by the end of this one will take a 3-2 lead. And as I said before, if this series was to go to 7 games, I would do a live commentary for Game 7, which would probably be around an hour long, and because, you know, 48 minutes per quarter and then whatever else in between, like the halftime report and whatever you want to add after that. So basically, you know, I just have to talk about Game 5 for this game, and then after that, I mean, I'm out of things to talk about instead of real life. So, I mean, let's go ahead and begin with Game 5. Basically, all you need to know is Miami went berserk. Mike Miller was a killer. He was a main component in the win for Miami Heat and the ultimate reason why they were able to close out the Thunder in 5. And, well, I wasn't technically wrong about whoever won the game was going to win the series, so just keep that in mind. You know, even though the Thunder could, like, if they would have won one game in Miami, I think they could have had the advantage. And it's so crazy how everyone sort of predicted OKC to win in about 6, or to win in about 5, or something like that. And then all of a sudden, here come the Heat. I mean, the Heat, I guess you can say they struggled through the playoffs, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, the first round, you know, was sort of easy versus New York, but that's still a tough competition. You know, you have Melo, Amari, but again, you got to say, well, Jeremy Lin was out, and Amari, like, punched a wall or something and was out for, I think it was a game, and then he came back, but I think they beat them in 5, and that was some pretty tough games in there. I mean, even though inside of Game 1 it was an absolute blowout, and I don't know why I remember that, but I was watching, and then, like, as soon as it started getting over 20, I just stopped having interest in the game and decided not to watch it. So it was a pretty big blowout, probably about 30, I think it was 31 points actually, or something like that, but don't quote me on it. And then they move on to face the Pacers, which, you know, the Pacers beat the Magic, and, you know, it just sort of happened that way. I mean, no Dwight Howard, no win. So it should be interesting what they're going to do until the offseason, but that's another story for another video. And they struggled versus the Pacers. They said, oh, well, this Miami Heat team's going to lose, you know. Going down, I forgot what they went down, but it looked like, I think they went down 2-1, and then all of a sudden here come the Heat. And, I mean, Dwayne Wade had a 40-point performance. LeBron had a triple-double like the next game, and, you know, all of a sudden they got going again, and that's dangerous. And then they move on to the Boston Celtics, who ultimately stopped them. I mean, they went up 2-0, the Heat did. And then all of a sudden, here come the Celtics, just bursting out of control. And they win 3 straight games and just couldn't close out at home. And then a pretty epic Game 7. It was going back and forth until the very final minutes, and then it just sort of got out of reach. So the Miami Heat are probably one of the luckiest champions in the world, facing elimination twice, technically. You know, technically to the Pacers, I'm saying. So, you know, to come back from that is pretty crazy. And then you look on the other side, the Thunder had an easy way there for the most part. Now, I'm not saying it was an easy way there. Of course they struggled, but they looked like the better team if you were to compare the two. Like, well, OKC swept Dallas, you know, beat the Lakers, and I believe it was 5, you know. And then they beat the Spurs in 6. And they ended up winning 4 straight games, and that's why I didn't count them out until the finals, because I thought, you know, maybe they had that surge left in them like they did against San Antonio, because, you know, it's just the way it is. And somehow, some way, Miami just found a way to win one in OKC and win all three in Oklahoma City. Of course, there was some very, very close calls at the end of the game, such as the Kevin Durant no call, where he could have shot free throws to win the game. So, I mean, what can you do with that? It's just a 50-50 call that didn't get called. I mean, you know, of course, I would love to see more basketball. I mean, I would love to see a Game 7. So, you know, at least we have the video game for that if it does go to 7. But, again, I have no clue what's going to happen inside of Game 6. And this is a pretty good ending to Game 5. I'll give it that. But ultimately, there's hardly nothing to talk about the NBA Finals except for Mike Miller had a career day, a field day, if you will. Just absolutely lighting it up. I believe he went 7 for 8 from downtown. And, I mean, Miami could not miss. And they played, the fans actually sang the song Power by Kanye West. And I found that pretty funny towards the end. Like, everyone, as like a fan, as a cohesive unit, just started singing Power by Kanye West. So, found that it's probably an enjoyable moment. And, of course, you know, you have LeBron finally getting his ring that he so desperately wanted. And he said it's about time. So, you know, he's actually getting up there in age, surprisingly enough. Like, I remember growing up and, you know, watching some of the great players that used to be inside the league, but, you know, now are sort of retired or towards the end of their careers. I remember watching Tracy McGrady light it up. I remember watching Vince Carter, Jason Kidd in his prime. I would say in New Jersey with Vince Carter, that was a great team. I think they made the 2002 Finals versus the Spurs, and I remember watching that. And, you know, just seeing these players pass before your eyes, you're like, where did the league go? You know, and then all of a sudden these new superstars rise, and it's a new league. So right now, I would honestly say around the year 2004 was probably the best basketball year for me, because that was just where all of the stars were at their pinnacle of their career for the most part. Now, I'm saying Shaq might have been starting to get over the hump a little bit, or you could say, you know, this and that. But that's when Kobe was pretty much in his prime, whenever he put up 81 against Toronto, you know, when he was still number 8. And he switched his number from 8 to 24, signifying that that was his halfway point. He's halfway done with his career. So I wonder if he's going to live up to that. Like, he's basically set a plan for retirement. So, again, I mean, I was very, very young when Jordan three-peated. So, like, directly after I was born, he won it inside 96, 97, 98. So, I would have been 3 years old, 3, 4 years old. I can't remember that. I'm sorry. But I can say this. I was alive for one of the 2 Jordan three-peats. Something special. And it's weird that he won championships in such a weird sequence, you know. I mean, I think it was 91, 92, and 93, and then all of a sudden 94, 95. It's like, well, what happened there? And then in 96, 97, 98, he wins again. So I don't understand that. Those are his 6 rings. 2 three-peats, nothing else. And just imagine if he didn't, you know, sort of retire, and if he could have kept playing as well, he could have climbed the record books a little bit. But retiring and going to baseball was sort of not the best of ideas for Michael. But anyways, I finally talked myself down to about the last 3 minutes of the game, so I'm going to start play by playing. So basically, the Thunder and the Heat have basically been going back and forth. This lead change has been just very, very common inside this game. And the Thunder were down by 9, I believe, and now they're trying to come back as Kevin Durant hits a swift jump shot to cut it to 3. And then Durant, coming off another screen, he gets a lot of screens in this game, and he doesn't really get them in real life either, so it's something weird. Of course he gets them in real life, but I'm just saying it's more common on the game for him to get a screen for 3. And I've decided for the most part I'm letting possessions like go like between possessions, so you won't see like it cut out like every 5 seconds, because they score a basket. I'll let the play out. So that doesn't make much sense. But anyways, the Thunder are right back in this game. We're knotted up at 85. The Heat have to call a timeout. This is possibly the last possession of the fourth quarter for the Heat. And Udonis Haslem gets the offensive rebound, decides to clear it. Great decision on his part. James, the pump fake, doesn't know what to do with it. He does have a smaller defender on him momentarily in Russell Westbrook. He's trying to take advantage. They switch off to James Harden guarding him. And they give it down to Udonis Haslem with 12 seconds to go, and he hits a hook shot to put them up by 2. So here's the Thunder's chance to respond. Will it go inside of overtime or will they win? Russell Westbrook drives in and just hits an incredible layup. Basically as clutch as you can get. Not even going to Kevin Durant that possession. They decided to go with Russell Westbrook. Last possession for the Heat. Dwayne Wade pulls up for 3, and it's no good, and we are going into overtime for the second time in this series, I believe. So you can't ask for a better basketball game, people. You can't ask for it inside of a video game. So to start the overtime, we get a goaltending call as Serge Ibaka gets called for it. And there's been some questionable goaltending calls inside of the Western Conference Finals as well as the NBA Finals. So I don't know what's up with 2K. That one wasn't questionable, though, as far as I can tell. And James Harden just explodes off the dribble. He catches it off the pass, pump fakes, and goes in off a launch pad and just explodes. So nothing much you can say there. Chalmers spots up for the triple, puts his team up by 5, and now it's time for OKC to respond. Again, let's see if they can. They're very good at it for the past couple of games inside of my series. James Harden pulls up and hits a cool, calm, and collected jumper. And next possession for the Thunder, Russell Westbrook just takes it and scores the ball. Heat still not scoring and struggling to score after these short little runs they have going on. And then the Thunder just come back down. Durant goes in, pump fake cheese, and is fouled. So again, I'm showing the full free throws here. I'm not like editing anything out. So you can see him step up to the line, and is he going to choke or is he going to knock him down? So basically there you get to see his stats. He's got 29 this game already, and then with this 3 free throw, it will be an added 30. So he ties the game at 94 apiece with 1 minute and 39 seconds to go inside of the first overtime. Oh, man. Hopefully that's not like a spoiler or anything. I'm just kidding. You really don't know if it's going to go into another overtime, but he hits the shot and puts him up by 1. And then the very next possession for the Heat, Dwayne Wade dribbles around, passes out to James. That's probably a good decision. And he puts the ball in the basket. Simple as that. So going back here on the other end, Durant pump fakes again and gets fouled. Getting the calls that he didn't get inside the NBA Finals. In real life, he's getting them now. So way to be rewarded, I guess. Because, I mean, trust me, these free throws do not get any more pressure like added on to them. So, I mean, imagine being down by 1 in Game 5 of the NBA Finals with a minute left in overtime. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a lot of pressure. But apparently he feels no pressure. He is immune to the pressure. He's just going to step up to the line and tie the game. Now with his second free throw, he does that little shiver move that he always does, puts it up and puts it in, and gives OKC a lead by 1. Miami now trying to respond to see if they can try to steal Game 5 from the Thunder. Let's see what they have. James dribbling at the top of the key. Will he take the final shot? Will it be King James? Dumps it down to D. Wade. Spins, gets fouled, and hits the jumper. Are you serious? That's the second time in 2 games Dwayne Wade has gotten fouled on the way to the basket and won. So not only is he clutch inside of Game 4, he's also clutch in Game 5. And as an added bonus, he knocks down the free throw, and now it's the Thunder's last chance all of a sudden. Westbrook driving, looking, kicks it out to James Harden for the three, and it's no good, and the Heat steal Game 5. And what can I say? I'll see you in Game 6.